What's up, everyone? We are here in the Jurassic Room, and yet again, welcome to another episode of Dinosaurs of the Week, where all of you, the fans, get to pick what is showcased in each week's episode. And like always, I got some more fun suggestions from all of you great people, and I'm going to be picking 10 of my favorites to showcase this week. So let's go ahead and check out what dinosaurs made the list. To kick off this week's episode, we've got a suggestion from Sonic Squad for the Jurassic World Hammond Collection Pteranodon, and this is one of the new Hammond Collection releases, and a very interesting one. The figure itself looks pretty cool, the sculpt is not too bad, and the coloration and everything on it is pretty awesome, as you guys can see. The interesting part about this is actually the box art. That is a recycled Jurassic Park 3 Velociraptor render turned into a Pteranodon, which is definitely looking pretty funky, but otherwise the figure does look nice. Now when we look at the back of the box, we get a better look at our Pteranodon, some of the different poses you can put it in, and then of course the glass eye, which is a little different on this Pteranodon because of the big eyes, which is pretty cool. But overall, this is a very unique species, and one that I'm pretty happy made it into the Hammond collection, because I did become a Pteranodon fan ever since Jurassic Park the game from Telltale Games, and this figure definitely depicts that decently well. Definitely had bigger eyes in the video game, but this is still a really cool figure and one that I'm happy to share with all of you. Now, the next suggestion we have right here is from Stavarn for the Jurassic World Dino Rivals Ramphosuchus, and this is a pretty cool figure, as all of you guys can see. A nice little pterosaur with these pretty cool yellow coloring to it, and a decently good sculpt as well. Nothing too crazy to say about it, but still a sweet figure. Now, when we look at the back of the box, we get another look at our Ramphosuchus right here, and some of the other attack pack dinosaurs that come in this assortment. But something else that I always say that I love about Dino Rivals is the collector card that they always come with. So you can see the Ramphosuchus collector card right there in the back, which just adds a nice little touch to this toy line. But overall, this is a pretty cool little pterosaur with not such a bad paint job and a pretty awesome sculpt. So it's definitely one that is cool in my collection, and one that I'm happy to show for all of you guys. Now we've got more Hammond Collection suggested right here from General Burt, and this is the Hammond Collection Irritator, which is a sweet figure. We've got a really nice sculpt on this one, and a great paint job, and of course, top-notch articulation like the Hammond Collection is always known for. And this has become one of the more rare Hammond Collection figures these days. I've had a lot of people ask me where they can get one, but unfortunately, I think the only answer to that is eBay and scalper prices. But look at that cool render right there, and then on the back of the box we get another good look at our Irritator in a pretty cool pose. But again, this one is a really interesting species, and one that I was a little bit shocked that they introduced into the Hammond collection so early on, but it is a really sweet carnivore. Again, I love the sculpt, paint job, and articulation, so it's definitely a sweet figure and an amazing addition to the ever-growing Hammond collection. Now, this suggestion right here came from Jurassic Abraham for the Jurassic World Rebirth Launch and Battle Vehicle set, and this is an awesome set to me. This one actually made it into my top 5 Rebirth toys in the video that I did recently. I love the vehicle it comes with. The Martin Krebs character is pretty cool too, but this Velociraptor overall, I love the sculpt. I love the entire look to it. Reminds me so much of the Jurassic Park 3 Raptors, so I'm really digging it. Now, when we look at the back of the box, we get another good look at our vehicle, our Martin Krebs figure, how it can launch, and another look at the very cool Velociraptor, which again, I could rant about it all day. Did not get enough screen time in Jurassic World Rebirth for having such a beautiful design, but overall, this set is really cool. I love the vehicle. The human figure's not bad, and of course, the Velociraptor is super sweet to me, so it makes me very much love this set and makes me excited to include it in this week's episode. Now we've got another suggestion right here from Simone, and we've got even more Hammond collection, guys. This time it's a Trosaptor Ghost from Jurassic World Dominion, and again, this is another one of my top favorite Hammond collection figures. The sculpting on this Trosaptor is great. Honestly, it's much better than the sculpting that we've gotten on the Velociraptors in the Hammond collection, and overall, just the paint job and everything looks really, really cool. As you guys can see, we get another good look at Ghost on the side of the box, box. And then when we look at the back of the box, we get really good looks at Ghost, some of the different poses that you can put this Trosaptor in, and then the glass eyes, which are actually red this time, which make this Trosaptor look so menacing. I absolutely love it. But again, this is a great figure, has awesome articulation, obviously, since it is from the Hammond collection, and just overall has a really good look, especially compared to the other Raptors from the Hammond collection. So this one was definitely an easy choice to put in this week's episode. Now, this next suggestion right here came from Spino King for the Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous Primal Attack Soundstrike Pteranodon, and this is a pretty cool figure. It is the same sculpt that we've gotten from the Pteranodon many times, but it does have a unique paint job, as all of you can see. We've got more of a brownish and a maroon color to it with a little bit of yellow, which definitely does make this Pteranodon interesting, to say the least. Now, when we look at the back of the box, we get another good look at our Pteranodon, its wing flapping action, and its chomp. So we'll go ahead and check those features out. So you can press the back button here to get wing flapping action with sound effects. Pretty cool. And then the front button here gets chomps with sound effects. Again, nothing too crazy about this figure, but it is a good sculpt for the Pteranodon, and it did get a fresh paint job, so it still makes it a pretty cool figure. Now, this is an interesting suggestion we got right here from the Dino Guy. This is the Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous T-Rex, Darius, and Velociraptor Blue box set. Now, all of these were repackages, and this whole set right here was exclusive, I believe, to Sam's Club, so it did make it interesting, but we get a repackaged T-Rex, a repackaged Darius, and a repackaged Velociraptor, but the whole way it's set up in the box actually looks pretty cool, so I wasn't really complaining about it being a repack. Now, when we look at the back of the box, again, we get a better look at our T-Rex, Darius, and Velociraptor Blue, and of course the gigantic bite of the T-Rex, which is pretty sweet. But again, even though this is a straight repackage of 3 different figures, it does look really cool presented in this box set, especially with that cool background scenery. So overall, this is a sweet set. Probably not the best set if you're not a mitten box collector, but I am, so it makes it awesome for me to have. Now we've got even more Hammond collection this video, this time from JC. This is the Hammond collection Velociraptor Blue from Jurassic World, and honestly, I feel like half of the suggestions today have been Hammond collection, but that's probably one of the best, if not the best, Jurassic toy lines of all time, so I guess we can't complain. But Velociraptor Blue is looking really nice here. This is from a little later into the Hammond collection where they started fixing up the sculpt of the Velociraptor a little bit, so it definitely looks better than some of the earlier counterparts that we got. There's another good look at Blue right there, and then on the back of the box we get to look at Blue in some different poses, and of course the advertisement for that glass eye, which they like to put in all of these different Hammond collection figures these days to add a little bit more realism. But overall, the sculpt is pretty good on Hammond collection Velociraptor Blue. The paint job's not too bad, and of course the articulation is top notch as always, so it does make this a very nice figure. So now this next suggestion right here came from Braden for the Jurassic World Dino Rivals Mega Dual Attack Quetzalcoatlus. And this is interesting because this is the first Quetzalcoatlus figure that we got from Mattel. So it's got a really vibrant paint job. It looks crazy, almost looks like a giant pterosaur mixed with a parakeet or something like that. But I do love the vibrant colors of this, which are really, really cool. Now when we look at the back of the box, we get another good look at our Quetzalcoatlus. It's super wing strike, it's super chomp, and of course its collector card that it comes with, just like every single Dino Rivals toy does, which is pretty cool. But we'll go ahead and check out the features. So the back button here gets the wings flapping, and then the front button here gets a little bit of a head bob and a chomp, which is pretty cool. But overall, this Quetzalcoatlus is awesome, and it is a decently rare figure. It does look very similar to the Dominion one, which is not a rare figure, but I actually prefer this vibrant paint job and think that this is a cooler figure compared to the other one. And then the final suggestion we have for this week's episode, of course, is more Hammond collection from Shell Shell. And this is the Triceratops from Jurassic Park. And again, this is an awesome figure with a really good sculpt, a great paint job, and of course, top-notch articulation, like I always say with the Hammond collection. There's another good look at our Triceratops. And then on the back of the box, we get a full look at our Triceratops and a little bit of a scene from the movie, which is really cool. My only gripe with this figure is that this Triceratops just isn't quite big enough. It should be more in scale with the T-Rex and stuff, but overall, that's not really too much of a complaint. This is still a really cool figure, and what's crazy about this one is this has become very rare and valuable recently. I remember picking up a bunch of these on clearance back a couple years ago at Target for like $5 or $6, and next thing you know, these are selling for $200 or $300 online, which is crazy, but that just shows, guys, that the Hammond collection is definitely worth the investment, and all the Hammond collection is worth adding to your collection. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Dinosaurs of the Week. Like I say every single week, if you did not get featured in this week's episode and would like a chance to be featured in next week's episode, then be sure to let me know down in the comments below. Want to see more awesome Jurassic content? Then hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications so that you don't miss any of my content. Also, check me out on Instagram and join my Discord server for so much more Jurassic fun. The links to everything will be in the description below. Check out more awesome Jurassic videos here.